morning or good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for being with us for this episode of Take the Risk, Take the Lead series. We shall be offering you unique learning experiences shared in person by outstanding women who contributed significantly to the insurance industry and to business environment overall, and women who positively imprinted many lives and helped grow many careers with their role model personalities. Today with us is Mrs. Ana Maria Mihaescu, and Ana Maria has made her marks and contributed to 11 countries while with International Finance Corporation, has led World Bank mission in Bucharest as well as global banks, and is currently a board member in international institutions such as Raiffeisen Bank, Black Sea Oil and Gas, and MedLife. Beyond her imprint in the insurance industry and in business overall, Ana Maria is an ardent promoter of women ascending in their career path, an outstanding mentor, an angel investor, art lover and collector, wife to an admirable man, and mother to a young talent in business. So you could see that maybe I'm a little bit nervous because I so much love and appreciate and value Ana Maria. So having the chance to have a conversation with her is for me a very impressive, very important moment. So to Ana Maria now, thank you for being with us today.
Thank you, Nina. It's always a pleasure to meet you and your colleagues.
Thank you. Ana Maria, we have prepared 3 questions for you today. Only 3, and knowing how good of a storyteller you are, I so much look forward for your answers. So here is the first question. What risks turned out to be your chances of turning your life around?
I think, I think it would be better if you can draw yourself the conclusion. I will just tell you the story of one very significant day of my life. It was in 1997. In the morning when I woke up, I was the president of one of the most important banks of Romania, the Exim Bank of Romania. At midday, I was fired with no employment. And in the evening, I got the job of my dreams, which was the job with one of the specialized agencies of the United Nations, which was the IFC. And, you know, one wouldn't believe that such a thing can happen actually in less than 8 hours, but it happened. And because I was a former credit insurance underwriter, I think I was quite good in assessing the risks. So in the morning, I was told, that was 1997, that the Romanian state-owned banks have been attributed to the political parties. And midday, I was called by the head of the political party which received the Exim Bank, and I have been asked to join that party if I wanted to remain the president of that bank. After more than 20 years of service in financial services, for me it was clear that with a double command, which was one from shareholders and the other one from a political party, it would have been very difficult to make the development of this bank a success. I refused to do that compromise. So I told the president of this party that I'm not ready to join the party line in order to remain the president of the Romanian Exim Bank. And it was a very difficult decision because I was a founder member of the Romanian Exim Bank, and I have spent more than 8 years of my life in building the institution. And at that time, it was really very well appreciated in Central Europe. And I just said no. I will not take that road, which was suggested by the president of the political party. And I just asked them to make sure that they are thanking me for my work and they are discharging me from all my activities. And I went home. It was 2 o'clock. I remember my husband came home because I have asked him to come. You know, it was quite an emotional stage for me because it was a shock. I was not expecting it. The bank was doing well. The institutional building was appreciated by the regulator, by the business community. But it's happening, you know, like the pandemic, things are just appearing. The risks are out there. So you really have to be able to assess it and to deal with it. So I went home and I told my husband, look, I'm an unemployed, so either I will need to stay some time and to decide what we are going to do, or I would have had the need of accepting certain compromises. He agreed with me that it was the best decision, that I should not accept such a compromise because it would be the path to unsuccess. And then he said, but we cannot stay at home. You know, you need to be seen. We have to go out. And because both of us, we were running strong financial institutions, we were invited that evening at the presidential palace because the president of the World Bank was visiting for the first time Romania. It was James Wolfenson. And then we decided we are going to the dinner. And during the dinner, guess what? One of the members of the Wolfenson's delegation, who knew me from my activity, he came and he said, Ana Maria, we need your support to identify a successful banker because we have promised to the Minister of Finance that we will open an IFC office in Romania, and we need to do that in 60 days. So we need something really who we can trust. I said, fine, we can discuss tomorrow. Half an hour later, he came, you know what? I have had another discussion with the president of the World Bank, and I'm confident that I cannot make it successful unless you are taking the position. So by 7 o'clock in the evening, I was offered the position of head of the IOC office in Romania. So look, I think it's not very often that the same day you have to take 3 very strong decisions, but usually life, mainly at the peak of your career, it's coming into our lives with the significant decisions to be taken very quickly. And I think it's very important to have in the back of your mind which are your values, your principles, and to act in full knowledge of everything you are cherishing.
Oh, that was that's really, really a lot of learning from what you've told us already, Ana Maria. So if I just were to summarize it a little bit, then it would be stay true to your principles, right? You didn't make a compromise. Then you took a huge risk of being unemployed, of having your peak of career cut like that, right? So, okay. It could be an image hit, right? So what happened all of a sudden in banking and top industries, changing gears from one day to another, from 1 hour to another, it's difficult, right? Or unheard of. Then what else? Be present, right? Be out there, have courage. Okay.
Yeah, and faith.
And faith, have courage and faith.
Following your values, you know, everything is going for good. I used to quote, you know, Voltaire. It's one of my favorite writers. So everything is for better in the best of worlds. And that is the quote of Voltaire in Zadig and L'Optimiste. And I truly believe if you are a good person, you are acting with the good values and faith, everything life is lining up ahead of you. It's just for the best, even if at a certain moment it looks like the worst thing which can happen to you. As I told you, at midday, I was unemployed. From the president of the third largest Romanian bank, I was just unemployed. But then, few hours later, it was just for the best.
So chance per se doesn't fit into this story, right? So it wasn't a chance. According to your principles, it was a guided step of life to your...
Yeah, because, you know, the guys from the entourage of James Wolfenson, they were not coming out and looking at me as a, $1 billion babe. It was a relationship which was built in years, but it was a working relationship. So they knew that they can trust me and they can hire me to do something. But every small step or small piece of the puzzle, it's not becoming apparent until a certain moment.
Exactly, until the puzzle gets together, so you, at least you get a glimpse of it. That's very strong of a statement. So, well, can you please extract, Ana Maria, I'm thinking now, from your overall risk taking, right? Because in your profession and personal life, and at such a high level, and being being a board member of so many companies, so if you could make a map or a balance of what risks you consider, what weighs more. So when you are faced with a big decision, what do you put in the balance? So is it family? Is it profession? How is it? I'm speaking vaguely now, but maybe you can exemplify.
No, I think, Nina, for me, always it was very easy. Family was coming first. And when I was discussing with my bosses, I was always telling them that, look, new career opportunity can appear at any time. But if I'm missing to be at the bed of my son when he's having 40 degrees fever, that will create a want which I cannot cure 5 years later. Even if 5 years later I'm like the best mother and always around him, and the 40-degree fever, maybe it was taken care by the best doctors, but the family and the children, they are feeling the need of you as a mother to be there when you are needed. So for me, family was always first. And that's why within the World Bank group, I have refused few of the career steps, which maybe would have, meant something higher on global level. I was never sorry, because what I think is very important for all your colleagues as well, it's to know yourself very well. And I'm calling this knowing yourself like my dialogue with the mirror. And with my mirror, I'm always very honest. If I know what I can take and what I cannot, then I'm deciding in accordance. And I'm not saying that, it's good to have family first or it's good to have career first. I think that depends on every individual. But it has to be decided in full peace with yourself. And I think both parts are really fine. A pure balance between family and career, I doubt that can be achieved. In certain moments, I'm sure, and maybe even longer periods. But always something is prevailing. And for me, it was the family.
Thank you for sharing that. It's very important to know, like we and the ladies that look up to you, and young women in ascending of their career path, they really need to know that, because that myth of perfect work life
Balance.
family, for women, or maybe for men, but we are speaking in our case, it really doesn't exist. So we should not continue this mistake.
Or, it's a state of mind to which you aim to reach. And you might have periods when you are reaching
Right,
it.
right.
But still, you have to really, choose early. If you are ready to sacrifice your family for a very strong career, again, it's fine. I have met in my early career, because I used to speak quite a lot at conferences, and I remember I was in Bosnia at a meeting, and it was a young woman, and she told me, I don't care about family. I'm a single woman. I want to remain that. And for me, what is important, it's the career. And she was expecting me to contradict her. And I said, no, it's fine. If you are happy with that, and that is truly what you believe, it's fine. But you have to be honest with yourself when you are making that type of analysis.
Our choices define us, actually. That's
Yeah.
what I'm saying. But also, what we do not choose defines us as well, right?
Yeah, that's the price you are paying when you are doing it. Yeah.
Let me, on that note, let me challenge you with something. So, what risks, if any, you wish now that you chose, that you would have chosen, but you didn't?
Yeah, that's very easy, because it's it's very strong with me. When I had my son 20 plus years ago, I was decided to have the second child. And actually, in my ethics, there are two beds, one for a girl and one for a boy. But then my career was in a very difficult period, and also personally, we were going through a difficult time. I was not strong enough to pursue what we decided together with my husband. And I felt that, career-wise and life-wise, the life is requesting too much from myself, so I should be content with the one child. My lessons learned from that, it's that never be afraid that life is asking too much from you. I'm sure that if I would have had the little girl, I would have had the same good career and family life, and everything would have settled in the right thing. But I was afraid. And fear is the worst of our enemies, and the risk with needs really to be very well regulated by your system.
Wow, Ana Maria, that kind of blunt disclosure and sharing with us from your personal life means a huge gift to us and to our audience. So I thank you from the bottom of my heart. I know how important it is to be transparent, and actually living a true life these days seems to be the only option. Like, look what happens around us. Who has time for not telling the truth or for wasting time? All sorts of games. So for that reason, again, I thank you for that. And towards the end of our conversation, if I may, if you were to give us or young Ana Maria, you choose, a word of advice, something that we should think for the next days or could help us, what would that be? Could you?
There are two things which I would recommend to every young woman. First, to put yourself in the middle of your world and to love yourself in this world. So, the sort of air hostess type of theory. You are the most important, you need to save yourself, and if you are saving that, then you can do the rest of your tasks. That it's one. And second, also love everybody which is around you. And I used to recall something which Goethe said 200 years ago. So Goethe 200 years ago has written a paragraph which sounds something like, when you are treating people, treat them as they are at their best behavior, and do not treat them according to what they are. if you are treating them according to what they are, you are taking out only the worst of them. If you are treating them as they should react, you will improve their own behavior. And I think that's fantastic. And it's still true after more than 200 years ago.
Wow. It is. And we are grateful for you giving us these moments of inspiration and for sharing with us important moments that marked your life. So thank you, Ana Maria. Thank you for today's conversation.
Thank you, Nina. Happy to be with you. And please just, make sure that all young women are having this type of courage of looking at themselves, loving themselves, and loving the people around them. I think that's the recipe for success.
I will make sure that these words of yours are heard by our colleagues. In Virtual Eye, we have a huge percentage of women. You will see in one of our episodes who they are, what are their faces, and what they have to share. So what you've shared with us today will be conveyed to them. They will be listening to you, to us. So together today, Ana Maria and I, plus our colleagues, we thank you for being with us, and we look forward for your comments or questions for Ana Maria that we would be more than happy to answer. And see you at our next episode next week.
Thank you.